So this right here has to be one of the easiest trading models that you could ever follow. And personally, it's got me 1.6 million in funding. So this has got to be one of the easiest models that you can trade when you're learning the ICT concepts. It is also one of the most important concepts and most valuable concepts that he teaches. And this is how you do it. Okay guys, so this is the formation that you're looking for trading the unicorn model setup. So what the unicorn model setup consists of is a higher high, a low, a higher high, and then a lower low. So you can see inside of here we have our breaker, which I'll show you a live example of what a breaker block is. So you have your breaker block, it will come down, create a lower low, and there'll be a fair value gap inside of the breaker block range. And then you enter on the fair value gap entry here. And this is a bearish example of the unicorn model. Okay, so now I want to give you a bullish example of the unicorn model setup. So as we can see here, we had the sweep of liquidity to the left. Then we also had the market structure shift. So we took out the last swing high, creating a breaker block inside of this zone right here. And then we come back down and we tested it and we ended on the fair value gap to push price higher. And that is literally all you're looking for, guys. But there has to be a fair value gap inside of the breaker block or just above it or just below it, depending on which direction you are trading. Alright guys, so I'm going to give you the breakdown now of how we trade the unicorn model setup. Typically this would be during New York, but I've just picked the first one that I could find. So let's go through this right now. So there we go. We can see we've had a push down, sweep of the liquidity. Then we've had a higher high, a lower low, and then we're waiting for a push up with a fair value gap inside of this zone. And there we go. So you'd mark out this zone right here, which pairs inside of a fair value gap. And then you could take the trade from this point right here because it's just above the breaker block. So you can take this fair value gap right here. So let's say, for example, if you took that fair value gap, 25-point stop, target opposing liquidity, like so. So as we can see, we did hit the buy side liquidity, of course, but it took a little bit longer because this is during the London session. So very, very slow. But there you go. That's how you would trade the bullish unicorn model. Okay, so now we're going to go through a bearish example of the unicorn model setup. So we can see here we've had a prior sweep of liquidity in this zone right here. So we swept. Not sweepy, there we go. So we can see there we've swept this liquidity. So that high has been taken. And then we can see we've had one more attack at the highs. So our market structure shift would be the last swing low. Which then turns this into the breaker block. And then you have your fair value gap inside of that zone. $25-point stop, which is above the highs. And then you could target this area right here, this area right here. Or what I would do is I'd start targeting points of interest. So you can see how this works. So by this point we would have been out of this trade because we would have had our stops, 2 swing highs above current price. We would have had our stops there and we would have taken off around 75% of the trade at this point already once we'd taken out this low. So there's an example of how you can trade the unicorn model setup. And this is the exact setup that got me 1.6 million in funding. And all the trades I take are actually live on YouTube, so you know I'm not just talking shit. You can actually go and visit them. They are on the YouTube channel, and you can see that we take these on the daily. Okay guys, so just to finish the video off, I want to show you this highlight from the stream that we had last week. So as we can see in this zone right here, this would be the breaker block because the last swing high before we take out the low and create a higher high. So we know that we can enter on this fair value gap if it respects it. So as soon as we get price respecting this fair value gap, we take the trade. It didn't go all the way to the final TP, but it just gives you an idea of how to actually execute these trades. So we can see at this point the price has fully respected this fair value gap. So price is now wicking to the downside and respecting it. So it's not breaking past the close of this candle inside of this zone. So we just want to see a nice little push up and then we're in. And as you can see, ES has also done the exact same thing. So you can trade this on multiple pairs. You don't have to stick to just Nasdaq like I do. There is another example on it happening. There is another example with it happening on ES. So there you go. As you can see, you hit the first TP. I think we made about $1,000 on this trade. If you guys like these live streams, of course we did get stopped out very soon after. But if you do like these kind of streams, you can go on to the live section on my YouTube channel, and we actually go live 3 times a day, and we trade all the macro sessions that I think are viable. And if you want to get involved, then the link is in the description. If you want to get involved, obviously during the live sessions, I'm talking, explaining my thought process, explaining the concept that we're trading, and the ideology behind the trade.